finna jump for the shit. All top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. So out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the field. Say vivid for the ears. I know that's...
Good morning, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If I'm looking like a bit of a sleepy mole rat this morning, it's probably because I just got up. But in today's video, I'm going to be taking you through three of my meals and a snack that I've been using at the moment that has been quite easy to get hold of in some of my local supermarkets, aside from all the hobos who are stockpiling and everything. These meals are also going to be pretty cheap, they're going to be easy to store, have good shelf life, easy to store once you've whipped them up, and they're pretty sound in the calorie content. Now, my calorie count at the moment has generally been between 2,000 to 2,200, something that I'm trying to keep track of whilst I'm in quarantine, just because my daily steps aren't as high, so I'm not expending as many calories, so my appetite's a little bit lower, so I don't need to eat as much. Now, before we get into this, I am still intermittent fasting, so my day at the moment is generally getting up, making a quick brew, a cup of coffee. I'll then get a little bit of work done, get outside in the back, do a workout, then I'll do some steps, go and buy some shopping and stuff, get a bit of sunshine on the face, some vitamin D, and then once I get back around 1 o'clock, I'll tend to start making my first meal. I just find for me at the moment, especially when you're spending a lot of time at home, it's easy to start picking and binging and stuff, so it helps me keep my calories for a little bit later on in the day, because I find myself a couple of times standing in the kitchen with a hobnob and Kit Kat in hand and thinking, what the fuck has happened? So I guess without further ado, let's make some food. So our first meal is going to be pancakes, because who doesn't love pancakes? You're going to need a low-cal spray oil. We're going to need some oats, and don't get too caught up on the type. We're going to be using some egg whites. You can pick these up in most supplement distributors online and some supermarkets also. You will also need some peanut butter, almond butter, whatever floats your boat, and then just a good old banana. If you're one of those who enjoys a green one, then you're a bit of a freak. I'm an absolute savage with the oil. I prefer to have too much than the pancake be glued to the pan and you have to shovel it off at the end. It just doesn't look great. Then the next thing we want to do is just move the oil around the pan, probably preheat it for about a minute, just so we can get a nice cook on when we add our oats to the pan. We're going to caress the oats into the pan. Not going to leave them there for too long, we just want to make them slowly heat. We don't want the heat too high because we don't want to cremate them. I'm using half a cup of rolled oats here and just spreading them evenly across the pan. Once we've done this, then we are going to add in our 1 cup of egg whites. Again, just drizzling these evenly across the pan and over the oats. Then what I'll tend to do is, a bit like an artist with his brush, is spread the mixture across the pan just so it cooks nice and evenly. Then as the pancake mix starts to cook properly, I will then add a little bit more oil to the sides of the pan just so it doesn't stick to the pan and look shit pretty much. Now this bit is where we're going to slowly just move the mixture about so it doesn't stick to the sides of the pan and we get a nice even pancake without having to shovel it off after it's stuck and glued to the bottom of the pan. That's the bit where I get a little bit nervous, the part where you're either going to be a flipping hero or the guy with pancake mix all over his hob. And of course, I'm an absolute hero of the hob. Just in case you missed it, here's a slow-mo close-up because it's quite satisfying. Next, we're going to chop half a nani up and then add our tablespoon of peanut butter into the middle of the pancake, caressing it into the pancake. It will start to get a little softer and easier to spread as it heats, so don't worry if it's like trying to wrestle the paste into the pancake, because it will get a little bit easier. Next, we're just going to dart on our bits of bananas onto the top of the pancake, evenly across it all, and then we are pretty much ready to serve. Now the calories for this are popped on the screen and come up to a grand total of 404, with 40 grams of protein, 45 grams of carbs and 12 grams of fat. So a really nice macro split, and this will keep me full for quite some time. I'll often just wash it down with a cup of black coffee, or even just add an apple just for a little bit more volume to the meal. Cheeky little taste test there. Yeah, pretty good. Now, a lunch meal is what I like to call a prison meal. It tastes much better than it sounds. First thing you're going to need is mushrooms, a low can of sugar baked beans, because who doesn't love beans, a pack of basmati rice. I've gone for the cheapo little version here, but that's up to you. You can use a pack of Uncle Ben's if you're feeling like splashing cash. A tin of tuna. Again, I've gone for the cheap option here. You can get some princes if you fancy like pushing the boat out a little bit. The meal takes about 5 minutes or so to whip up and is easy to store if you want to make a double portion and store some way. First thing we're going to do is bang the rice into the microwave for 2 minutes and then leave that just to chill in there. In the meantime, we're going to whack on the hob to a medium heat. Smother the oil in again, which probably defies the point of using low-cal oil in the first place, but you know, I'm an absolute lunatic. You're going to chop your mushrooms into smaller pieces and pop them onto the pan for a good 3 to 4 minutes. Now, my season of choice has always remained the same. I use this barbecue one from Tesco and it's just life. It tastes great and I use it on pretty much everything and it's cheap. Once the mushrooms are brown and look like, well, cooked mushrooms, you can then add in a little bit more seasoning, a bit more salt, and then bang in your rice straight to the pan and just start to show it some love with your spatula by just spreading it evenly over the pan circumference area. Just massaging that in nicely. Once you're happy with that, you can then crack open your baked beans. Just make sure you've got a tin opener if you bought the ones without the little handle on, because there's nothing worse than going to use a tin and you've got no means of getting inside it. It's a bit like leaving your house and then realising, shit, I've left my keys inside. So again, we're just going to mix the beans evenly. Now we can chuck in our tin tuna. We're going to use 1 full tin to the happy family. Again, just showing us some love and probably take out any bits of rubbish. Not going to taste too good. And we're just going to toss it between the tuna, the beans and the rice whilst they share some bodily heat and bond over a relationship in the pan. Again, once that is all mixed in and you are happy with your mixture, then we're going to add in a bit more of the barbecue seasoning, because why not? And then I'm also just going to top it with a bit of salt. Another thing you'll notice I use a lot of, just because it brings out a lot of flavour in the foods. Give it a good mix and cook for a further few minutes. And then when we're ready to dish it up, you can do so after it's been on heat and you feel like pretty much the mixture isn't cold. Now, as you can see, it's quite a substantial portion for the 625 calories total, and has a good macro split of 49 grams of protein, 91 grams of carbs and only 6 grams of fat. This is what I always have mid-afternoon when energy levels are dropping a little bit, but you can just add half a pack of rice in if you wish to just lower the carb intake a little bit. Now for our even meal, which I tend to have around 7:30 to 8 PM depending on how I feel. This meal is going to be a steak stir fry, so the first thing you're going to need is some kind of veggie stir fry, which always seems to be on the shelves at the moment. Some rice noodles, these ones are my favourite, and I'll use 1 pack, which is around 150 to 160 grams, but you can pick up any type. Then I've got some good rump steak from Muscle Food. You can generally find these in most supermarkets. And then lastly, just our seasoning. Now, I made an absolute schoolboy here and didn't pull my steak out of the freezer until last minute. So I'm now having to do that thing where you try and defrost a steak in the microwave without semi-cooking it, which is a problem in life you just don't really need right now. So whilst that is defrosting, we're going to add our veggie stir fry onto the preheated pan for a couple of minutes, and then add our rice noodles into the mixer. Just gently massaging these into the pan and letting the veggies and noodles become one for the first time. Of course, I'm going to let it rain with some barbecue seasoning because it's epic. Then just fold this into the noodles and veggies pretty much, so we don't end up with big clumps of barbecue seasoning in our mouth. Once that is ready and you've massaged the noodles and the veggie stir fry and our barbecue seasoning nicely, once the microwave dings, we can then close our eyes and pray our steak doesn't come out looking like a leather boot. Thankfully, I timed this one just right and it defrosted nicely, so I scored it and added some salt for seasoning. I'll then just whack the noodles into a dish to chill for a little bit and wait for their mate steak. Again, just adding some low-cal oil spray here to the pan, just so our steak doesn't stick before we wait for the best sound in the world known to man. Very, very satisfying. Now I haven't even actually got the heat turned on the hob here anymore. I like my steaks either medium rare, because if you like it cooked anymore, then I think you can agree you're a bit of a weirdo. So just turn it over a few times, making sure it's cooked evenly, and take a little peek to make sure it's red in the middle. Now the calories here for this one as follows: 522 macros are good with 32 grams of protein, 42 grams of protein, 42 grams of carbs and 20 grams of fat. I'll also just bang in a bit of salt and then add some of the Skinny Food Co. low-cal sauce, because brown sauce is kind of a job at the moment and it's a tasty dish. Now this is the best part of my day. I like to call it the nighttime lover. I usually have a snack about 9 PM whilst I indulge in some Netflix or FIFA. The first thing you're going to need is some Greek yogurt, 0 fat or 2% if that's all you can get. I'll add in some more peanut butter, any kind again, whatever floats your boat. I'm using here some of the Skinny Food Co. range again, which I'll leave a description in my bio. Not endorsed by these, I just generally like them and it saves me a fuckload of calories each day. So I've used the salted caramel sauce and I've also used the blackcurrant jam. Then for the fruit, I'll add in some frozen raspberries and mango. They seem to be easy to come by at the moment in supermarkets and will stay in date in the freezer for pretty much as long as you like. Then the optional one here is cinnamon. I always find it's a bit like Marmite. Some people like it, some people hate it. This one for me is essential. First thing we're going to do is dish up 300 grams of Greek yogurt using my DigiScales, or sometimes I'll go a bit wild and add some more. It's important to be quite aggressive here with the Greek yogurt to get all the substance off the spoon. I'll then add in some Skinny Food Co. sauce and then politely give it a mix around the bowl just to soak all into the yogurt. No, this isn't fast forward, that is just my general hand speed. I'm a bit of a wizard when it comes to this. The next part of the journey is going to be adding our mango and rasps generously to the mixer. I don't weigh this part, I just pretty much smash them in the bowl as much as I like before folding it all together nice and gently until every piece of fruit is covered in yogurt. Just a bit of my OCD coming into play here. I just like to make sure that every raspberry and every piece of mango gets some loving from the yogurt itself. Now it's time for the cinnamon. I'll add in quite a generous serving here because I like it. Next, it's time to top with some Skinny Food Co. jam. Again, I'm quite strategic about this. I almost go for a 4-4-2 formation across the yogurt, so to speak, and across the surface area. Then, after we've added our jam, the icing on top, which makes, well, life worthwhile in general, is our peanut butter serving, which I'll aim to get about 20 grams, but always tend to spill over to about 25 grams. Peanut butter lovers will understand. Just make sure you wash your hands here because coronavirus. And the calories for this one are 374. Macros are 37 grams of protein, 37 grams of carbs, and 10 grams of fat. Quick taste test. Well, no. Wow, that's epic. It's probably like one of those points in your day where it's just like, I look forward to this all day. I genuinely have this on a Saturday evening as well, as part of like a treat day, because it tastes that good. In terms of volume to calories, can't beat it.
Rude.
Plus the PJ's making. Hope you enjoyed some of those sick meals. If you do whip any of them up, then please don't forget just to tag me on Instagram, which I'll leave it somewhere around here, and I will share them. And it's quite cool looking at some of the recipes you guys have been whipping up, whether they're decent or shit. What I'll usually do is as well, I'll just use it for like a protein bar in, so at the moment I'm using the sort of plug USN Trust bars, pretty much because they taste epic as well. Oh, look at that, epic. All the punchlines today. And just helps me get a little bit more protein into my diet as well. So one thing I would advise doing is just stocking up on some protein bars, or whey protein, just because the shelf life is going to be really high in comparison to buying like meats and chicken breasts, which are really difficult to get hold of at the moment. They're going to be easy to stock up on. They're going to be a lot cheaper per quantity of them, and they basically taste a lot nicer as well than a manky wet chicken breast. I'll leave a link to where you can pick up some cheap USM bars and some decent stuff below. And if you enjoyed the video, which of course you did, then do the only job that you need to be doing at the moment, which is dropping down, hitting that like button, and also whilst you are down there, make sure you subscribe to my channel, because the next video is going to be sick next week, which is going to be on can you muscle build at home and trying to maintain muscle tissue during this period in time. And yeah, I guess I'll catch you in the next one.